Welcome to the Pathways to Surrender podcast. I'm Michael Warmoth, and thank you for joining us for this guided meditation. Please note that these meditations are recorded in a tropical setting with the windows and doors open, so you will hear birds and other sounds. Try not to let them distract you from the words. Let's take a moment now to just get settled in, get comfortable and relaxed. Maybe close our eyes and take some breaths and just listen to the music before the meditation starts. We have heard before, one of the skills required for surrender is the ability to soothe ourselves. Soothing is a practice that we should have learned from being soothed by our caregivers. A child learns to self-soothe when they are soothed. But many of us did not have that experience. And we turned to other ways of dealing with our anxiety and our fear and our discomfort. Mostly ways that were not helpful in the long run. Soothing comes from the reassurance that no matter what things may look like, we are actually safe. That everything is okay. The most typical example would be the child who's woken up from a nightmare. And the parent comes in and holds them and soothes them and shows them that it wasn't real. But the anxiety and fear that we have to deal with now is often so much more subtle and difficult to name a direct source of that fear or anxiety. But it is there, stopping us from surrendering. It's keeping us awake, keeping our health low or our relationships difficult or whatever way it out pictures in our world. It's clear that we don't trust, that we don't feel safe. That we can't see reality, the reality that actually everything is okay. Because we can't know that in a nervous and anxious state. We must change our state. And that is the purpose of soothing. We can see what happens with the child who is woken up in a state of high fear and anxiety, and watch as they are soothed, how they relax and move into a completely different state of being. Until they fall asleep again. Now it is up to us to soothe ourselves. One of the difficulties we experience is that we have lived in an unsoothed state for so long that we may have no memory or practical experience of everything being okay. We may have been living in a state of fear constantly. Maybe that fear was in the subconscious, not in our conscious awareness. But it was the active factor in our view of ourselves and the world. What we must come to understand and remember is that no matter what things look like, no matter what state we're in, there is a state available to us that is completely different from the state of anxiety and fear. A state of well-being, a state of deep knowing, of a peaceful, safe existence. That knowledge exists within us. It is built into us. Most of us have had some experience of that, even if it was just momentary, where we realized that actually everything was okay, and that everything has happened in a perfect order, in a perfect way. That knowing exists within us right now. And it is that knowing which we can use to soothe ourselves. We can recognize and acknowledge the fear and anxiety without judgment. We can bring compassion and understanding and forgiveness to ourselves. It's perfectly reasonable that we should have anxiety and fear. There is no one that can claim that we shouldn't. There is nothing to judge. Nothing is wrong. Nothing is bad. Nothing is not good enough. You are waking up and becoming conscious. And it is a journey. It is not always easy. We must face things that we have not wanted to face. We must be willing to experience things we have not wanted to experience. We must allow ourselves to become open and vulnerable. These are challenges. Sometimes it's simply not possible to do it by ourselves. We get support. We need validation and support. That is okay. It's not a sign of weakness or failure. But we are not looking to be fixed. We are looking to be reminded that we have within us everything we need. And so, let us become aware of what our state is. What are we doing right now with our energy and our focus and our mind? What are we paying attention to? What are we believing? What is our state of being? Everything that we experience is the consequence of a choice that we make. What are we choosing? We have already heard that within us is the knowing of a deep state of peace. A state of deep knowing. State of connection and openness. Is that what we are choosing right now? We may not be conscious of what we are choosing, but we can discern fairly easily just by how we feel. Do we feel peace? Do we feel safe and secure? Do we feel frustrated or anxious? Do we feel like we are being blocked? Every one of us experiences our resistance in unique ways. When our resistance is high, but peace seems a long way away, it's the time for soothing, for recognizing and acknowledging that there is fear, that there is within us a need to know we're okay, that we are safe, that we are not bad, that there is a place for us in this world. We can call on our knowledge of the truth to bring soothing to that anxiety and fear. This is the moment now we can choose to act from that deep knowing, to summon the truth. To let go of control, surrender our will, become available and open to that state of being where the truth is revealed in our consciousness. And there no longer is any resistance. The love and light of the infinite is alive within us. We can choose to make ourselves available to it. It is our true nature. It is the truth of ourselves. There is no other truth. Be assured that that divine light is within you. The presence, power, the spirit of the infinite is real within you. Thank you for listening to this episode of our podcast. If you would like more information on these meditations and teachings, you can visit pathwaystosurrender.com. You might be interested in our other podcast, Pathways to Wholeness. These are episodes of meditative teachings designed to help us move to the next step in our journey, letting go, learning to surrender, overcoming resistance. That's Pathways to Wholeness. Look for the next episode soon. We'll be uploading them every couple of days. See you next time.